Welcome to Almost Outdoors. The birds are singing. It's a nice day out, and I can guarantee you, I believe winter has gone. I believe winter is over. So you know what time it is? It is time to get the camper ready. So I winterized the camper after we got back from Disney, I believe it was. So that was in December. Actually, I had a pretty fortunate day when I did that, winterizing it, because it wasn't, so cold. Now the temperature is about 50-some degrees, 40-some when you wake up, so I can go ahead and de-winterize the camper. That's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to show you all on how to do that. We're getting the camper ready because next weekend we go camping, our first camping trip in April. Pretty excited about that. So I'm going to de-winterize the camper. I'm going to throw all the slides out, and we're actually going to start loading this thing this week. We're going with my brother and a couple other families to, I think down near like Luray. I believe, Luray Caverns in Virginia, if you've ever been there. I've been to the caverns myself. I don't think I've been to this particular campground. I believe it's a Yogi Bear campground. So it should be a lot of fun. Got to get to de-winterizing the camper. Got t-ball games later today, so it's going to be a busy day. Got a lot of yard work to do, but I'm just going to show you today how to de-winterize your camper. So a really cool feature that I have on my camper to throw the slides out is this handy dandy little remote. I can do everything remotely. Take the slides out. I can put the landing gear, as I call it, the jacks down. Everything's remote, and I absolutely love it. I can put the awning out from remote, and all you got to do is hit the little selector and press and hold that. And I'll bring out the main, and we're going to hit out. There she goes. And right now it's moving the slide out. So everything on this camper is really easy. Very pleased with this. Hopefully everything, fingers crossed, everything goes as well as it did last year, because we have no problems. Only really good things to say about this camper. So going to throw the slides out and de-winterize it. I'll show you a couple of things that I did. And that one's out. Alright, so one of the first things I did, if I can get some decent lighting in here. So down here, I have to probably throw my little light on. This is where the valves are for this particular camper. To winterize it, you have the valve here, up there, that you can turn, and you have your other valve down here. Now those have to get turned the other way in order to let water go to the hot water heater, which is right here. Actually, when I was winterizing it, I had some pink stuff actually go in to the water heater. It was just trickling out, but that pink stuff's non-toxic, so it won't hurt you. Essentially, you could drink it, but I advise you not to. So I had a little bit of that going there, so I'm going to actually open them valves and let that stuff just kind of flow through there and get all that gunk out after I get my lines clean. One other thing I noticed, I don't know if you can see it or not. See that clear thing? Right here. Right there. Oh, lost my light. The clear thing. See that little clear looking ball looking bubble thing right there? Yeah. So I had to take that off. That's part of your water line. Had water condensation in there, and just wanted to make sure that that wasn't going to get any water in it. So put that back on the other day. Now I'm going to get the hoses out and hook everything up, and I'll be back to you as soon as I get all that mess hooked up. Alright, just a quick camping tip. If you want to store your stuff, you want to keep it kind of nice and neat. I keep a lot of my electrical lines rolled up. Of course, I have my step, because if you get on some kind of unlevel ground, or it's really the first step's really high, you want to make sure you have a step. I put everything in totes. For the most part, I keep everything kind of organized. I got my duct tape and waterproof stuff. I got bug spray, electrical lines, and totes. What I was going to get to is, of course, there's my carpet for it. You want to put your stuff in totes, because it makes it a heck of a lot easier to, decipher what you have. You always need some of these. Floodlights, decoration stuff. And I keep all my hoses and bungees, all my fresh water or good water stuff in here. So I have like 2 water hoses in a tote. Anything that goes along with my water I put in here, and of course I keep my, I got a pressure regulator here, so we're going to use that pressure regulator in this and the hose. Any of my other stuff to do with my with my sewage stuff, I put in this. I put in the tote back there. That's all my sewage stuff, and then on top, way in the back, I have another tote back there. I keep my sewage pipe in. That way you can, drain your sewage water and all that other good stuff. You got to keep that stuff separate. Separate. It's key that you do that, and keeping it in totes makes it a heck of a lot easier to organize and keep things apart if you don't want your freshwater, lines mixing with your sewage pipes. Alright, so I turned on the water, got everything hooked up. I got my water line hooked up here. Pressure regulator is going good, it's in the green. Everything's hooked up here. Got it hooked up to the hose. It comes across here. And the hose goes all the way down to the house down there. So now, all you gotta do is go in and start draining it. Alright. Now that we moved some of that stuff out of the way, should get some nice pink water out of here. Of course, I'm going to do this one first since it's the furthest one away. So I'll let that kind of drain, let it do its thing. It'll, might be a little bit air in the lines or whatever, but mostly pink stuff, because you fill up all your lines when you winterize it with pink stuff. It's going to make a little bit of a mess, but you want to make sure it's clear. Everything's coming out clear like that. Alright, so you want to turn all of them on. So let them run for a little bit. Make sure you don't have any pink in your that's coming out of your spigot when you're done dewinterizing it. Like I said, that stuff's not toxic, but you don't want to drink it, and it's a little unappetizing if you do fill up your glass full of water and you drink a little bit of it. So I'm gonna turn that one off. Got to mosey on back here to the bathroom. Turn the shower on. Again, pink stuff coming out. Turn that one on. More pink stuff coming out. And again, that's what you want to see, because that's how you know that you winterized your lines really good. Turn that one off. Turn that one off. Let it kind of settle. Turn that one back on. I'll turn the shower head on. See what kind of pink stuff comes out of there. Of course, I got to do this. Got to hit your button there. Make sure all that stuff's coming out of everything. You don't want to get a shower with pink stuff. Same thing with this one. I'm going to pull a little drain piece out here. I'm going to turn it on the cold, and again, we got pink stuff. So you want to make sure, like I said, that it's looking clear. Make sure all that pink stuff is out of there. It should be nice and clean. Again, it is. We're going to start with the foot pedal here, and it's going to just wash all that stuff down the drain there. A little bit of light in here. And then again, you can also watch your lines to make sure that nothing was leaking or is leaking. That's behind the toolet, because that just means you didn't winterize it enough. And the toolet really doesn't matter for the most part. All right. Check these again. Now we're going to step outside, and we're going to check on the outside here, the outside kitchen area. Alright, so we're in the outside kitchen area, and again, this is the pink stuff that I use, just RV, marine, antifreeze, pretty much. That's all you want to use. That'll winterize it up there for you. And we're going to check these out. These lines, see there's nice and pink coming out there. And that just goes to show me that we did everything correct. Looks a little frothy, no? Everything's looking good. I'm going to turn this off. I'll put my hot water plug, keep my hot water plug out. Like I said, I had a little pink stuff coming. So when I did it, I actually had my valves off. When I actually winterized the camper, I actually had my valves off, but I actually had a little bit of, and since I had a little bit of pink stuff actually come into the water heater, see how there's a little tiny little bit of pink that just came out. So I'm going to lay that there. And I'm going to open up the valves. And I know you don't want no pink stuff in your water heater, but I'm just going to let it kind of gush out of there. Because I had some of it come in. Sorry for the lighting change. Ooh, there we go. So I'm going to open up those valves. Again, I'm just checking these as I go by them, just to make sure she's running nice and clear. So I'm going to turn these valves. I'm going to turn this one up here. Turn that like that. And this one goes down. So right now, it's actually filling up my hot water heater. It's kind of what I want, because I want it to drain out. But as you're down here, you know, take a look for any kind of leaks or drips, just to catch anything before you go on your camping trip. And everything's actually looking like it should. Let's go outside and take a look. So again, you can see a little bit of a pink hue in that water coming out of there. But I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to have any in there, and anything else in the lines that could have got in there. So I'm just going to let that drain out. That's not going to hurt anything. Of course, I turned the water off on that. Just letting that drain out. You know, the rod's looking good. This will get a lot smaller and get actually eaten up a lot more. I know there's a name for that, and I can't remember for the life of me. My brother and my father-in-law is going to be kicking me in the britches for saying it's a something rod. I can't remember what it is, dude. So now all I got to do is turn the water off. I'll open these valves back up for the water heater and bolt this thing back up. Again, check for leaks underneath of here. You can check under your cabinets. Anywhere you like, just to double check there's no leaks. For this particular camper, I have a sealed bottom, so I can't see if anything's leaking out of it. I can only really check inside, and if you see any puddles, of course you can look in your cabinets. Let's take a look in the cabinet real quick now that I just said that. And that's the toy cabinet. If you can see back in here, of course you can check your hoses. Let me put a little light on the situation here. Oh, light was on. But you can check your any of these other tubes or anything back in here, just to make sure you're not getting any leaks or drips. And everything's looking really good. Again, put your things in totes. It makes it really, really easy to organize stuff. Winterize your camper, and make sure you turn all your valves off and everything. That's fairly simple and easy. De-winterizing it is actually easier than winterizing it. And have yourself a good time camping. Check over your stuff, make sure your tire pressure is up to par, where it should be, as specified on the sidewall of the tire, and you won't have any problems. Make sure you look for dry rot on the side of your tire walls and everything else. Usually probably 3 years you might want to replace the tires, depending on how many miles you go. Again, we're going to down to Florida again this year, so we'll be making the trip all over the country, mainly the East Coast. All over the country. We're going everywhere. No. Anyway, we'll be flipping around the East Coast a bunch. We got about a trip planned just about every month. So pretty excited. It's camping season. Enjoy yourself. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up like button on this video. And don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends. Share this video. I appreciate it. My family appreciates it. And I appreciate you for watching this. See ya!